4 newspapers in the country that are growing circulation, and we are one of them. And I'm very proud to be in Chattanooga. I just got back in July. 21 years ago, I left the city as a reporter and came back in July as executive editor. We're growing circulation. We're holding our revenues steady. The rest of the industry is not doing so well, and I'll be bluntly honest about that. 14,000 newspaper journalists have lost their jobs since 2007. If my 6- and 8-year-old sons come to me tomorrow and say, should I be a newspaper reporter like you were, Daddy, I will probably say no. It's very tough out there. Last year, the Seattle Post-Intelligencer closed. The Rocky Mountain News in Denver closed. About 50, maybe 70 newspapers have closed in the last 3 or 4 years. It's brutal out there. The web's a big part of it. There was a time when the newspaper was the appointment medium. 6 o'clock in the morning, you went out on your front porch, and there it was. But now everybody wants it right now, or 4 o'clock this afternoon, or midnight, or 3 in the morning. And so we have to be there as well. By the way, your website is better than ours.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I will be consulting you about changes to our website, which we are redesigning. But we're also going to be doing a big push on not just the web, but on mobile platforms. Social media is a big thing for us right now. We doubled our Facebook fans over Thanksgiving by doing an iPad giveaway. We went from 3,700 Facebook fans to almost 8,000 by giving away 2 iPads. So I think we're going to be giving away a lot more iPads.
Right here.
Do you find that at all ironic that you were giving out an iPad to people who are potentially not going to the medium anymore?
There is some irony there, but
yes.
we're also about to do something that no newspaper's ever done, though. We're going to go to a place in Georgia that is outside of our circulation area, but it's close, and they want us. And we are going to give them iPads so they can view our electronic edition, and they have to subscribe for like 3 years, 3-year contracts. So I think that's a good thing. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution used to be a statewide, literally a statewide paper that circulated to 145 counties in Georgia. They're down to 20. Many of those counties they've abandoned are in North Georgia, and that's why our circulation is going up, because we have reached out to those people. Bradley County is another growth area for us. So our circulation is bucking the national trends in a big way, and I think a lot of it is because other papers are trying to cut their way to prosperity, and we are still investing in our newsroom. The most valuable thing we have to offer is content. It's expensive to produce. My view is completely different than many people in the industry. I think we need to invest more in content and enterprise and investigative journalism to drive readership and drive advertising. Many newspapers are 50% the size they were 5 years ago. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is a shell of its former self. It's almost an embarrassment.
Explain to us that, you know, journalism students or just anyone in the room, sort of the dynamic of a newspaper, deadlines, you know, ideas, and how maybe effective meeting, and how you run that, or just how things kind of the climate there.
Well,
because you had interesting things to say when you spoke with the communicator at the beginning of the semester about that.
We have 2 meetings a day called budget meetings. They have nothing to do with finances. Budget meaning story budgets. So at 10:30 in the morning, all the editors get together in a room and we talk about what we have coming that day and what we want to put on page 1 potentially. Then we meet again at 4 and we decide between wire stories and the local content what we're going to put on page 1. So we have some spirited debates. Before, I think Times Free Press was more editor driven. I prefer us to be reporter and photographer driven. I want them to come up with the ideas because they're the ones minding the beats out there. So if they come to us, we give them support, and then every day we meet twice. We decide what's going to go on the paper.
And you started the thing on Mondays where the photographers get to tell a story, which is
yes.
oftentimes in our industry, you forget the person behind that camera, and those are the people who really deserve all the credit.
That's very true. Our photo editor, Tracy Trumbull, joined us about a year ago from the Knoxville News Sentinel, and he introduced a feature where the photographer actually writes the story. It's a short story. It's not a big deal. It's a feature story, but we also include the photographer's mugshot in there, and it kind of humanizes them.
And Clay Bennett, of course, their Pulitzer Prize winning editorial cartoonist is part of their staff. Not many papers this size can brag on that.
There are like 70 editorial cartoonists left in the country, by the way, and Clay is the source of half my phone calls.
And Robin Hood was once a photographer at the Times Free Press, Pulitzer Prize winning photographer as well. I will just reiterate, we start at 9:30 in the morning when everybody comes into the newsroom. My day starts at 2:45, so I get to the station about 3:20. The two producers for the morning show were already there since 11 o'clock that night. And everybody else, all the reporters, photographers, everybody comes in. 9:30 we have a meeting. That's when you sit down and discuss the plan for the day. Reporters will tell you what they're up to. Producers will tell you what they want in their shows. We've got to fill the 5, 5:30, the 6, and the 11. And you're off.
You were talking 2 and 3 a.m. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been doing that 25 years. So it's 2:45 in the morning, and I'm just, boom. I have a great co-anchor who I tremendously respect, Latrice Curry, and it works.
I have another question, sorry. And I'll ask them when I don't see hands, I guess. As far as, what do both of you, as a question for both of you, think about communication technologies and whether or not it should be seen as vocational in education, or if it's something that's necessary for I guess, just necessary for citizenship today. For what do you think about the idea of media in education? Is it important? Is it, because it's shuffled down the ladder in some institutions, not here, I don't think. But
I'm gonna let you take that one.
I don't know. I'm really impressed with the young people who are coming into the, we get probably 300 applicants for every job opening in a newsroom. But they have got to be technically savvy. They have got to understand all aspects of social networking. You've got to know how to edit. You've got to be up to date on all the editing equipment and shooting, because most of your stations these days are going to what is called one-man band, which I can't imagine having to do that, where you are the photographer, you are the reporter, you are the editor, you do it all. And most stations are all that. Even your major markets are all one-man bands these days. So
I'm a huge proponent of multimedia, but I will tell you that since I've got to the Times Free Press, I've backed off of video and audio by the reporters, because I thought that our stories were deficient in many areas. So I want them spending more time actually doing the fundamentals of journalism. I think that will help our bottom line and help our content. And then we have a professional videographer on staff. He's the one that should be shooting the videos, instead of us putting shaky reporter videos on there with bad audio.
And most of our reporters are doing 2 or 3 stories a day. So, we don't have time to work in depth on pieces. And we don't have any more. We don't have this, we have 4 major rating periods a year: November, February, May, and July. And remember, we used to see those, used to just be inundated with all these special reports, and Eyewitness News examines careless moms at Walmart, and we don't do that anymore. People just aren't interested. It is not important anymore. We're going up against The View, but we're doing local programming, which so many of you want these days, and so many stations have just, it's so much cheaper to order national programs. It's just Rachel Ray or whatever, it's just cheap to get that programming in. But I admire the station. They took a risk, and we're doing local programming at 11 o'clock. And that's what brings this job back to the roots. It's fun. We can run anything at that time. We could do those horrible game shows that got killed at 11 o'clock. I mean, it was horrible. Have you ever watched 11 o'clock programming in the morning?
I don't remember last time I
This
watched
guy's wonderfully shaking his head. That's why he got rid of his TV from the...